Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending the September 11th, 2025 Thursday meeting of the Albany Community Police Review Board. John Lewandowski, would you mind doing a roll call?
Yes. Chair Santos?
Here.
Vice Chair Lewandowski present. Secretary Emily Sowick? Dr. Harden?
Present.
Paul Collins Hackett, Batman? And Victor Persons is excused today. And we have quorum and can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes, the August 14th monthly meeting minutes. Did anyone see any problems when you reviewed? Is everybody good? Everything's good? Okay. Thank you very much. Those are approved. I'm going to announce that we're going to have one change to the agenda, and that's going to be the report from the chair. I will report that at the end of the meeting. And now we will have time for public comment.
One step back, we gotta just.
Can I make a motion to move the...
Oh, I'm sorry.
I make a motion to move the chair's comments to the bottom of the agenda today. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My apologies. I think I'm moving with a little bit of speed today, so I apologize for that. So now are we ready for public comments? Is there anyone that would like to speak for public comment? No? Is there anyone online? Okay. There's no one online for public comment. If someone does come a little bit late, we have plenty of time for grace. They can provide public comment after. Usually it's time for communications from the City of Albany. Detective Lieutenant Riddy is not in attendance today, but Detective Adalian is representing Albany's APDOPS division. Detective Adalian, is there anything you would like to report or would like to say before we commence?
Good evening, Ms. Santos. I don't believe there is.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Board member announcements, and we're going to have a report from board member Dr. Harden on the NACO Regional Conference in San Francisco, California.
Thank you, Chair Santos. And after this, are we going to go back to what you added as a change in the agenda? I'm not sure. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to extend my gratitude to the National Association for Civilian Oversight and Law Enforcement, known as NACO, for providing ongoing education and training for practitioners in the field of oversight and extending your support and assistance to the Albany Community Police Review Board as we're currently navigating challenging times. Your guidance has provided the CPRB with a measure of assurance for the future of civilian oversight for the City of Albany. Last month, I had the opportunity to attend the second Regional National Association for Civilian Oversight regional meeting, which was held in San Francisco, in addition to participating to the regional meeting held in New York City also in May of this year. The regional meeting held in San Francisco focused upon law enforcement's use of artificial intelligence, known as AI, in civilian oversight and law enforcement, the intersection of ICE and law enforcement, diminishing support of oversight, and community engagement and community strategies. Here are some takeaways I wanted to share with our community and colleagues for consideration. As the use of artificial intelligence grows, the Albany community may want to consider what is currently being used and how the use of some advanced technology could support our community. Some examples provided were the use of drones to respond to calls in real time to get eyes on incidents while awaiting officers' arrival. Keynote speaker at this regional conference, Dr. Jennifer Urbanhart, I hope I said her name right, shared her research on how racial bias and imagery impacts law enforcement response to community members of color and has long-standing damages and effects due to these responses on our children and adults who encounter law enforcement. Our former chair, Nairobi Vives, worked to address similar concerns highlighted here in Albany while members were attending the Albany Police Academy. where she had the unfortunate experience, as well as myself and others, to hear training officers refer to Black and brown communities as people who are as criminal in comparison to other communities. I raise that here for us to continue to recognize why understanding the history of policing is important. If we are committed to changing the narrative, we have to know where this construct originates from to remain present and engaged on why we do the work that we do. As a reminder, where our mission states and the board aims to improve communications between the Albany Police Department and the public. These measures are meant to increase public accountability and credibility and create a complaint review process free from bias and informed of actual police practices achieved through impartial investigations, policy recommendations, community outreach, and education. As we navigate unprecedented times, the panel highlighted immigration and the intersection between law enforcement actions at the state and federal levels and how communities and their impact on civil rights and strategies for upholding the rights of members of our communities, and should gain an understanding of what the federal implications mean for us locally. I share this with the board to gain that education and share with the community, as this can have negative implications for community members facing possible negative interactions and declining to file a complaint due to the fear and correlated with their immigration status. Lastly, practitioners discuss what police boards can do when diminished support for civilian oversight emerges. As Albany is one of 250 codified boards out of 18,000 police agencies, this panel emphasized the importance of continued community involvement through keeping the community informed, not just through our public meetings and outreach, but some examples that were provided were through the use of newsletters as a strategy that we have not yet considered, but maybe we should. We must not wait for incidents and become reactive. We must be proactive and align with local and national leaders who support oversight to keep our budgets intact, growing to provide the oversight our community has not only demanded but deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hardin. Thank you for that report. Were there any questions from the board regarding the report Dr. Hardin just provided? No. Let me go back a little bit. I think when I proposed the changes to the agenda, was there supposed to be a vote for the change, or was that okay? That was the motion you made? Okay, I just want to make sure that that was heard on the record, because I didn't even get it clear, okay? Thank you very much. We're going to go on to the committee reports. The first one is the Bylaws and Rules Committee, which is my committee. I have nothing to share at this time, but I do, there are impending changes to the bylaws, and most likely in October, there will be 2 or 3 changes to the bylaws. I'll propose them then. Community outreach, Batman?
Yeah, I've been working with several community groups to give them updates, just address their concerns, inform them about the complaint process. I've met with the Center for Law and Justice just to talk about what they wanted to hear and see more. They've asked me to come and speak at a couple of different things just to inform the community about changes and how they can access the Police Review Board, and exploring a couple of strategic partnerships for ongoing FaceTime with different groups. Specifically, programs like St. Catherine Center for Children and Northern Rivers have asked for things like that, resources for their parents. So exploring what that long-term implementation looks like of, coordinating face-to-face interactions and answering questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Batman? Okay, we'll go on to the Investigations Committee.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. We have a couple going on investigations today. Since July, when we restarted processing complaints and presenting complaints, counting these meetings, we'll have 22 presented and closed cases after this meeting. Next meeting in October, we will have an investigation presented by T&M along with reviews and other investigations. So I just look forward, everyone, be on notice that we will be presenting an investigation in our October meeting. And also, just to note, so everyone's aware, we might actually have a different date for our October meeting, and we will give notice to the public, just as a space conflict, and we want to make sure everyone's aware of that, so there's no miscommunication. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for John? Mediation, Dr. V, do you have any updates on mediation?
No new updates, Chair Santos, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I do believe the invoice for the mediation team for the services they have provided when they met with APD have been submitted and may have been taken care of right now. At least I hope so, but I definitely will be checking. John, Police Department Liaison.
Nothing to report. We're just still, we're going to be working with the police, OPS, to get a finalization for the discipline matrix, and we'll be talking to them more about that. If everyone remembers, we passed that and moved along to the chief many months ago, and since the transition with the administration at APD, we want to make sure everyone's on the same page. So that's something we'll be working with the police liaison meeting, and I thank Lieutenant Ritty for his cooperation with regards to that, even though he's not here. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? The Public Official Liaison is also my committee. We're hoping to begin that sometime in October, as we haven't received all the responses to the invitations that have already gotten out. So hopefully we'll be beginning that again in October. Regarding old business, is there any old business that needs to be brought up? Seeing none, moving on. In the new business, consideration of program director's request to coordinate complaint reconciliation with APD. I have already sent an email to the program director detailing that the information that he provided needed to be a little more succinct with what APD can do. I reviewed this paperwork, and there are some issues, details that APD really has nothing to do with, as in a high Q system. That's something that the CPRB owns, and we will take care of the high Q information ourselves. When it comes to complaint numbers that are missing, and information such as that, lists can be provided to APD before we are to go to APD and utilize any large amount of their time. So for the present time, as I stated, I have reviewed this paperwork. I will get a little bit more information out requesting what it is that we will need to see before an appointment with APD will be had. Also, please know, board members, that I did speak with Commander Maury in regards to this, and she is in total agreement to seeing lists before the CPRB has a meeting with them. Are there any questions for me? Seeing none, we're going to start with complaint reviews. The first one on the agenda is mine. The number is CC 2021-024. The date received was 6/29/21. OPS detectives assigned were Detective Eaton in 2021, and then Detective Burns in 2023. The date and time of the incident was 11/15/19 at approximately 10:30 p.m. And the date that this incident was reported was 6/28/21. The location of the incident was at 317 2nd Street, and the OPS report was dated 10/1/24. The officers involved, the CIU Detective Sergeant Jason Wilson, who responded to AMCH, Officer Kelly Marr, the author of the incident report, Officer Jeb Stewart, the sole body-worn camera footage, Supervisor Sergeant Thomas Mahar, he reported to the scene, and FIU Detective Amy Forgia, who processed the crime scene. The allegation in this complaint is call handling and procedures. The summary is as follows. Upon APD's arrival at the home of the complainant, it was believed that the complainant was shot in the left arm with a pellet from a BB gun. The complainant was evaluated by Albany Fire Department Emergency Medical Services on the scene and was immediately transported to AMC. Also noted was a birdshot shotgun round pattern found in the complainant's front yard. There was also a hole in the front glass window of his residence. The detectives then responded to AMCH, where they interviewed the complainant. The complainant stated he was in the downstairs living room when he heard 3 or 4 popping noises, simultaneously feeling pain in his left arm. The complainant alleged he walked to the window and observed 2 juveniles wearing dark hoodies running on 2nd Street toward Johnson Street, heading west, and he ended up giving chase for a short while. Albany Medical Center hospital staff then confirmed that the complainant was shot in his left arm with birdshot, not a pellet from a BB gun. The complainant alleged he believed he knew the identity of a female who may have been involved in this incident. A report was filed on the evening of the incident by Officer Mahar. Detective Wilson reviewed the video surveillance footage from the city-owned camera at the corner of 2nd Street and Judson Street. 2 male individuals were observed entering the immediate area but could not be observed leaving, and their identities could not be acquired. Based on the investigation conducted by APD, there was no evidence to affirm that a female was involved in this incident, as it appeared to target the target of the shooting was a house a few doors down that is an identified participant in selling marijuana. The solvability of this case was detailed as non-solvable, as there were no further leads on which the detectives could go. This case was closed as an office case. An office case is described in this complaint as a case where the Criminal Investigations Unit will close out cases where either the victim is not cooperative, the unit is unable to contact the victim or complainant, or there is a lack of evidence in which to move the case forward, which is relevant to the complaint. The findings are as follows. Detective Wilson was interviewed by the Office of Professional Standards, Detective Burns, Detective Johnson, Counsel Chris Silva, and Representative Mike Delano on 7/27/23. Detective Wilson has been with the force for approximately 10 years and is currently a detective with the Criminal Investigations Unit. Detective Wilson was assigned to the case and attested speaking to the complainant numerous times throughout the investigation, informing the complainant there was not enough video to identify the suspects regarding this complaint. And the audio interview lasted for about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Detective Burns and Sergeant DiGiuseppe attempted to contact the complainant via email and telephone, leaving several messages on both communication systems. Their contact was due to ascertain additional information regarding this complaint. All communications were unsuccessful. Detective Burns was contacted by myself on 9/26/24 regarding unaddressed questions about this complaint. The complainant indicates he requested a copy of the incident report on 11/19/19 at an undisclosed APD station. Could you provide proof that the incident occurred? Detective Burns' response was, it would be very difficult to prove that the complainant went to the station, as the stations do not have interior cameras, and this incident occurred 2 years before the complainant filed his complaint. The complainant could not provide a date for when he went to the station, identified by the complainant as being located at Henry Johnson Boulevard. Henry Johnson Boulevard is not a police station. This is the APD headquarters. During 2019 and 2020, this building is where central records were located. There was an incident report completed for this incident, so if he were to be advised, he would have been told How and where to get a copy of this report? The report was completed the night the incident occurred. The second question I posed was the complainant alleges he was not provided with information or assistance in ascertaining an order of protection through the police department. Could you provide me with a brief explanation of how a civilian may obtain an order of protection? Detective Burns responded, he would not have been told anything in regard to an order of protection as there was no suspect regarding this incident. Officers and detectives do not assist in orders of protection as they are issued through the court system. He would not be given an order of protection without the suspect of this incident being named and arrested. OPS Detective Burns summarized the report allegation of call handling and procedures as exonerated, where the acts that proved the basis for the complaint occurred, but the review shows that the acts were proper. The following explanation was provided. A report was filed the night of the incident by responding Officer Mahar. Detective Wilson then responded to AMCH to speak more with the complainant. Detective Burns was then assigned the complainant's case. The proper procedures were followed regarding the incident, with the report taken on scene and a detective responding to speak further to the complainant. Detective Wilson spoke to the complainant numerous times about the case and let him know that the investigation was going on and how it was to be handled. With no further information, the investigative case was closed as an office case. The undersigned detective was unable to speak further with the complainant after numerous attempts. After careful review of the case file and its contents, I concur with these findings. This case appears to have been thoroughly investigated. So in regards to the allegation of call handling procedures, my finding was exonerated just as APD's were. Does anyone have any questions regarding the complaint?
Also, is the complainant here for case CC 2021-024? No. Does any board member have a question? I make a motion that we accept the call handling procedure allegation as exonerated.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the second complaint, which is CC 2023-050.
Thank you, Chair Santos. This complaint was received on October 17th, 2023. The detective assigned is Detective Burns. The synopsis, this incident happened on September 30th, around 1:56 a.m. The synopsis of the allegation, the complainant alleges that the officer screamed out loud in front of a group of people at the complainant derogatory obscenities. The type of complaint, this has been filed as conduct standards. I did review this case, which did include speaking with the complainant, the complete case file, viewing body-worn camera footage, the interviews with both officers named in this complaint, which are Officer Tarosky and Officer Bolton. Based on the interview, the body-worn camera from the footage, I also concur with OPS with the findings of this case as sustained. The Officer Tarosky was also found, was provided disciplinary action, for violating several general orders, which included unbecoming conduct, courtesy, and dissemination of information. I did review both the officers' files where disciplinary action was indicated. and confirmed, and to look at a pattern of behavior with both officers. And while Officer Bolton was unfounded in this case, it was found that he was in violation of not activating his body-worn camera on this date. Any questions regarding this case? I put in a motion for sustained, and want to see if the complainant is here to speak or provide any comment on this case. You don't wish to speak? Understood. Understood, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Please do.
Okay, you stated that disciplinary sanctions were dispensed?
Yes.
Do you have what the disciplinary sanctions were, or did you write them down?
Yeah, yes, I did. Officer Tarosky received a written reprimand and 4 days of loss of leave credits for the violations that I stated of General Order 2.200-1A, 2 of unbecoming conduct, where personnel shall always conduct themselves both on and off duty in such a manner to reflect most favorably on the department. Conduct Standard 24, courtesy, where personnel shall be tactful in the performance of their duty, shall control their tempers and exercise the utmost patience and discretion, and shall not engage in argumentative discussion. And 38, dissemination of information. Personnel shall treat the official business of the department confidential. Information regarding business shall be disseminated only to those for its intended use in accordance with established departmental procedures. So that was for Officer Tarosky. Officer Bolton, while did not have anything to do with the derogatory comment, based on the fact that that officer was on the scene and it was self-initiated, was found in violation of not activating this body-worn camera.
Thank you. I just did that because I think it's important for the community to know that there was disciplinary sanctions that were, given by Commander Maury, or, the powers that be, in other words. I just want to make sure they realize that there were some involved.
No, thank you for highlighting that, because while this complaint is being reviewed just about almost 2 years later, OPS was proactive in their investigation and being able to initiate discipline within that 1 year mark, and that's why that is important. Thank you for bringing that up and addressing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any further questions from the board? I make a motion to concur with the judgment of sustained for this complaint. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chair Santos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. All right.
Okay. Thank you. The next complaint is CC 2024-035.
All right, that would be my complaint. This complaint was received on August 21st, 2024. It was assigned Detective Johnson. The allegation was for 2 counts of vehicle operation. The background of this case is complainant states that an Albany police vehicle identified as Unit 215 was driving at accelerated speed without lights or sirens on. The complainant states that the unit was driven recklessly and cut off the complainant. My summary of this case is at 7:15 hours on August 20th, 2024. The target officer was operating Unit 215. It was a ASB, which is an administrative used car, to Washington Avenue. Unit 215 did not have its operational, does not have an operational vehicle camera on board at the time. In the target officer's OPS interview, the officer indicates that they were in the area at the time. The target officer also indicated that they checked the mirrors and blind spots when changing lanes. The officer also stated that at the time, the vehicle's license signs were not operating. Without video collaboration, without video collaboration, we had to find the vehicle operation that we concur with the OPS finding was not sustained, as there is insufficient evidence to prove that the vehicle was being operated in an appropriate manner. This is not to say the incident did not occur, but there's no clear evidence to prove the event did occur as stated. This goes for the second count of vehicle operation. I concur that the finding of not sustained, as there's insufficient evidence show the vehicle is operating in an appropriate manner. This is not to say the incident did not occur, but there is no clear evidence to prove it did occur as stated. Checking back with Detective Johnson, he did state that since this incident, that vehicle has been fitted with a video system. So now that if it is driven and is driven in an appropriate way, we would have evidence to double check that besides just statements. Any questions from the board? Or is the complainant present? Is there any questions from the board? All right, I make a motion to concur with not sustained on two counts of vehicle operation. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and it was Dr. V with the second, and it's unanimous. All right, next complainant is also my complaint. That is CC 2024-047. This was assigned to Detective Adelaide. We received it on November 12, 2004. The complainant alleges that an officer in a silver unmarked police car blocked the intersection and did not allow cars to pass. The documentation provided indicates that this was not an APD vehicle. The investigating detective looked through APD vehicle records and did not find a vehicle matching the target vehicle, which was a silver Dodge Durango. The plate was also checked. The plate number does not match any APD fleet vehicles, and the plate did not come back with any current file. Because this, I will concur with OPS findings unfounded, as this was not an APD vehicle with through APD records. Is the complainant for CC 2024-047 present? Any question from the board?
Yeah, John,
Yeah.
I just couldn't hear the end.
Okay, so my findings is I concur with OPS findings unfounded, as there is no evidence that this vehicle, the silver Dodge Durango, was in any way connected to APD.
Okay, is it unfounded or no finding at all?
It is unfounded on
Unfounded, okay.
can I get a second for concurring with the OPS finding of unfounding?
Second.
Ms. Oak, for the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? All right. The next complaint, and the last one for tonight with regards to a review, is CC 2025-032, and that's Ms. Soak.
So this is an incident, sorry. The date received is 6/10/2025. The type of complaint is call handling. The detective from OPS assigned was Idalian. The location is Washington Ave and Quail Street. The incident occurred at 2:13 in the morning on the 10th of June, or 6/10. So the complainant alleges that at roughly 2:13, they were stopped at a red light after having car battery trouble. At the red light, a person unknown to them pulled up next to the car to ask a question and proceeded then to tell them to pull behind another car. When they got out of the car, the person presented to them a badge and a gun. The person, at no point, according to the complainant, did the person reveal that they were an officer of the law. They approached his vehicle, they bumped the complainant out of the way, and as this unknown person reached for the license plate, they ripped off the clear cover of the license plate and damaged other property along the side of the car, along with the license plate. After the car was damaged, the unknown person told them to get back into the car and leave. The complainant states they were not given a citation and they were not pulled over for a traffic stop. The only documentation that this complainant had was what they captured on camera, and they were not provided the officers' names because they were not given any paperwork during this encounter. After looking through the call log, speaking or emailing with Detective Adalian, and also looking at the stops that occurred on that evening, there was no police activity in that area at that time of day. So the finding of OPS for call handling is no finding, where the complaint failed to produce information to further the investigation. Also, the complainant was unavailable. They did not leave a phone number. They left a partial address. OPS attempted to locate the complainant, went to an address, left a business card, and tried to obtain the video footage that the complainant refers to, but that the complainant never returned any contact from APD. So again, I apologize. The allegation is call handling and no finding, where the complainant failed to produce information to further the investigation, and the complainant is unavailable to clarify the complaint. And I concur with APD's finding, or OPS's findings.
Any questions? Guessing the complainant's not available for CC 2025-032. Any questions from the board? No. All right. We are going to concur with the findings of no finding for this case with insufficient evidence because of issues with contact. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Ms. Santos, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving on. Also with,
Hold on. Are you going to announce complaint? You're going to announce them real quick? Okay. Go. Yep.
all right, second part of the consideration for complaints was complaint closures. We have 6 currently. One is being withdrawn, and then the other 5 are out of jurisdiction. So CC 2025-042 is withdrawn by the complainant. Then we have a complaint made on July 26th that is related to the water department. One on August 1st that is related to the state police. Another on August 12th with no referral available. And then another on August 14th, which is an NYPD issue, and another on August 18th that was also an NYPD issue. These are complaints are either out of jurisdiction, or the one that was withdrawn understanding the implication of it being withdrawn. I move that the board accepts these complaint closures with no action. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Santos, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and now this is going to be going back to the chair's report as we moved it to the end of the meeting.
Thank you, John.
No worries.
I did denote that people came in later. Was there anyone that wanted to pass a public comment before I do the report from the chair? I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. We're going to have the report from the chair at this point. Good evening, members of Albany community and members of the CPRB. Thank you for allowing me to take a few moments from your busy schedules. First and foremost, please allow me to thank the CPRB team as they continue to fight the good fight. This team includes our outside counsel, Michael Goldstein and Kevin Canizaro, our independent investigative unit, TNM USA, Julie Schwartz and Martin Gleason, Monitor Al Lawrence, Ms. Ivy Morris, the former chair of the CPR and current administrative assistant, also the first person to open the office at 175 Central, and last but not least, the volunteer CPRB board members, John Lewandowski, Emily Sowick, Dr. Vanelia Harden, Paul Collins Hackett, or as the community knows and loves, Batman, and last but not least, Victor Person, who's unable to attend because he's attending a happy family event this evening. This is just a quick shout out and humble thank you for all that you do, not only for the CPRB, but for the community that we all humbly love to serve. CPRB members, as you are all aware, we have not received response as of yet for the resolution we as a board submitted to the Common Council on July 31st of this year, 42 days ago. The submission of this resolution was not only approved unanimously by this board, but also only considered after many hours of deliberation and consideration for the future viability and autonomy of the CPRB. We as a board wholeheartedly affirmed then that we stood by this decision, and to date, our decision has not waived. As a board, on August 24th, we also requested a USB file and copies of all documentation regarding the transition into the city provided to the city by the Government Law Center in December 2024. These documents would provide needed guidance regarding several issues the CPRB is currently experiencing. The situation is not only frustrating, but emblematic of the current relationship between the CPRB and the city. The CPRB is simply asking for transparency and collaboration for the purpose of furthering the board's mission. I bring to the board that it is my belief that we must consider next steps regarding the lack of forward progress or formal response from members of the Common Council, and I believe a special meeting should be held or conducted as soon as possible within the next 2 weeks based upon board members' availability. Thank you for the consideration for this matter.
Thank you, Chair Santos. The only last order of business is adjournment. Can I get a second for adjournment? We have a motion from the chair for a special meeting in the next 2 weeks. Do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried unanimously. The second was by Dr. Harden. Sorry about that. Now we jumped the gun. I apologize. The motion for adjournment.
Second.
Second by Dr. Harden. All in favor?
Aye. Record time.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.